Well, it really goes to show what a tough gig retailing is at the moment. Myer boss Bernie Brookes says his profit over the next year might fall by as much as 10%, but the market breathed a sigh of relief, as if to say, is that all? And started buying the stock. This year's profit slipped 3.6% to $163 million in conditions Mr Brookes described as the worst he's seen in 30 years of retailing. Spoke to Bernie Brookes as he set off on his post-results roadshow. Well, Bernie Brookes, you've given guidance for next year this week of flat sales, profit down by up to 10%. How does that sit with your current run rate? Does it require an improvement or what?
No, we're quite comfortable at our current run rates on forecast, so therefore it helps us significantly to be able to give guidance. I think it's a pretty difficult trading environment, and last year, if you remember, we had an awful November, December and January with the floods and the cyclones, so we've got some easier numbers that we circle that'll make it a little bit easier for us to make sure we hit that guidance.
So are you setting yourself there for a cost reduction target within your budget?
No, from a cost point of view, our budget next year is very much about improving our GP margin. You know, the overseas sourcing, our mix of our more profitable Myer exclusive brands, reducing shrinkage, the investment in customer service and our new multi-channel approach. Those sort of features are more about driving a little bit more in top line, optimising our GP, but it's not about cost reductions. If anything, our costs could go up because we're investing a lot more in customer service this year.
Well, that's right. That's the fundamental tension you're into, isn't it? Because in order to combat online shopping, you have to have better service.
Exactly.
But the pressure from the market and the pressure within your budgets is to control costs.
Yeah, I think we could have not invested in customer service. We could have cut wages, and we probably could have provided a better forecast. My job as the CEO and the job of our board is to do the best for the shareholders. We think that by far and away the best investment we can make is in customer service and multi-channel. That might hurt a little bit from a bottom line, but it sets us up for a longer-term, better future.
Tell us about how online shopping is hurting you now, because as I understand it, most of the online buying is of international brands, and you rely quite a lot on international brands. So is that hurting you more than it perhaps might hurt others?
I think it's very much overstated. I mean, people have been saying that we're going to get significantly impacted in cosmetics, and yet cosmetics was one of our best performing categories. So we've been able to provide a number of alternates to online shopping, gift with purchase, more services in our store, more exclusive lines, more cosmetics. Those sort of things, I think, provide us with a bit of a barrier to prevent the internet eating too much into our sales. However, it is a competitor. It's another competitor. Depending on which piece of research you read, it's as much as 5 to 10% of the consumer purchase habitat. So that's a difficult competitor we have to compete with.
What do you think it'll rise to?
If you look at overseas, my view would be it's probably no more than sort of 10%.
A lot of people are predicting that online shopping will take a much larger share than 10%. I mean, what if you're wrong? What's your plan B? What's your defensive strategy if your prediction's wrong?
Sure, we believe it's cyclic, that the Australian dollar has a big impact on it, and there's no doubt that people are going to be able to purchase more on a mobile technology view. They're going to be out there being able to check prices. We're expecting all that and we're ready for it. We're building our own omni-channel approach, which will include everything from kiosks in store right the way through to being able to provide very good offers online, you know, up to 250,000 items, free delivery. We're in that game. We'll play a role in it. If it becomes bigger than what we expect, then we're certainly an important part of it.
What are your online sales now?
They're about $5 million, but that's happened very quickly, and we're tripling the sales just about every week. So it's starting to become quite a significant part of our business.
Tripling sales every week?
Yeah, it's from our point of view, it's tripling, 300% up on last year and growing at that sort of rate, and each week getting bigger and bigger. So there's no doubt it could go to 2, 3, 4, 5% of our sales very quickly. But how quick that happens depends on how good the offer is on our website, how competitive our products are, and both of those are big ticket items for us at the moment.
Generally, leaving aside the online thing, how are you finding the environment, the consumer spending environment at the moment?
We run a lot of Myer One customer research. We've got nearly 4 million Myer One customers in our database, and they're telling us some very fundamental issues. Firstly, they're concerned about such things as pending carbon tax. They're concerned about the flood tax. They're concerned, obviously, about the ability to hold a job with sort of unemployment at 5.3%. They're saving about 12 to 13% saving rate. And for them, they're quite frugal in what they're spending. They're looking for constant bargains, and they're a little bit worried about what the future holds. They've been through a pretty difficult time, both economically. They're worried about their house price. So there's a lot of headwinds working against us. It doesn't mean we haven't got opportunities at Myer, but there's a lot of headwinds working against us.
You're spending a lot of money on store refurbishment. You've just finished Melbourne. What does the experience in trading in Bourke Street, Melbourne, tell you about the impact on sales of the renovations you're doing?
I think the Melbourne store is a beacon for us. It's a beacon that says that when we improve our service, and we invest in service, when we provide services in store, and more importantly, when we provide an extensive and very, very strong range, that our customers will come. And that store is trading well up. So that's an indication that there's still plenty of space for bricks and mortar retailing.
Right, but the question is it trading well up enough to cover the cost of the renovation? I mean, what's the ROI on the renovation?
My word, that store's got a return on funds employed of over 30%. So we're ecstatic at the results of Myer Melbourne. We invested $53 million into the refurbishment of that store. The store's already looking, it's going to trade about $80 million a year more than last year. So we're comfortable with the sort of funds we've invested and the return we're getting.
Your shareholders must be very disappointed at the performance of your shares. I mean, what can you tell them about that? I mean, you know, it's been a terrible stock in many ways.
I think from our point of view, the job of a management team is to do our best to try and deliver the best profit result. You know, we're 3.5% down in profit this year compared to last year. In many cases, the share price represents the fact that the whole of the industry is in a difficult turmoil. All we can do is continue to deliver results as best as we possibly can. From my point of view, I'm one of the largest shareholders as well, so it's just as disappointing for me. Working as hard as we ever can to be able to make sure that we deliver the best result for our shareholders.
Thanks for joining us, Bernie Brookes.
Thanks, Al.